All right, good morning. All right, in the news, plenty of news. We're going to go Trump, 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 I guess. Donald Trump Jr. met with some Russian lawyers apparently in June of last year during the campaign, looking for some, under the guise of getting some potential dirt on the Clintons. Apparently nothing really happened there. There probably was nothing there. Media and the liberals were all in a lather and just in a tizzy about this. I'm not quite sure what all the fuss is. Except that once again it brings back the focus to anything that the Trump family has done with the Russians. Whether or not they should have met with them, probably inadvisable. It didn't really get them anything in the long run. Not sure that there's anything there. I'm not a lawyer, whether or not that was illegal or not. So I think we need to learn a little bit more about what went on there and why he really felt the need to do that. There's also the case of Ivanka sitting in for her father at the G20 meeting briefly, creating another fuss, once again from the same group that's upset about Donald Jr. Apparently there was nothing wrong with Ivanka sitting in for her father. The German premier, Angela Merkel said that the delegations get to choose who sits in when the leaders are not available or need to step out, and she's part of the delegation. She's not a cabinet official, but she's part of the delegation. And the report I saw said that the issues that were being discussed while she sat at the table, in essence, were relating to issues that she's involved with her women's issues and things like that. So it doesn't seem that it's really inappropriate in that sense of the word. But still, optically, when you look at it visually, it's just, these kinds of things they are major distractions, I think, for the Trump administration. Maybe the president actually finds them to be useful to him. But anything that brings a story back to Russia, I mean, Trump met with Putin and things like that. The media is just getting all kind of, their tentacles are out, the antennas up, all that kind of stuff. They're waiting to pounce on that. If I was advising them, I'd try to manage these things a little bit better. But I think there's just a lot of action without a lot of thinking about the PR side of it. And that's part of the deal. I mean, it is the visuals, the optics, of being the president. He's definitely, carving his own path. But there's some things, I think that, I think you're going to know that you're going to create a firestorm. If he wants to, all well and fine with it. But I wonder sometimes as to whether or not the distractions start overshadowing the issues that the president really needs to be dealing with. The president also is still, he spoke out about the Charlie Gard issue in the UK. Money's been raised for further treatment. Hospitals in the U.S. are willing to take him in, but the National Health Service in Great Britain, read socialized medicine, read single-payer health care, which is all a possibility here in the United States, has said no. Charlie Gard has got an untreatable condition, a disease that will kill him, and the National Health Service is basically saying, we are not inclined to have anybody spend any resources of any kind on someone who will die and you will not be able to save. So, the death panels live. It's just that right now, this one's in Great Britain. Also, the president has created a huge viral firestorm with him doing something highly unusual when he was getting on the helicopter. I guess it was a plane anyway. The Marine Guard stands duty. They have to stand at attention. They are not to break ranks or anything like that. But there was a lot of wind. The hat blew off the soldier, and Trump actually chased it. He picked it up, put it back on his head, came off again. Apparently he picked it up and did it again. And so that's created quite a stir on the internet and watching the president actually taking care of this Marine. And I kind of like that down-to-earth nature of the guy. This is the thing that, sometimes, despite even when you have some high frustration, you see him do these things and you say, geez, would another president have done that? Not so sure. They probably would have just stuck with protocol and just, gotten aboard and not worried about that and let the Marine worry about that once he was aboard, and he could then go ahead and go chase that thing down. So anyway, I'll say hats off to President Trump on that one. Spider-Man: Homecoming. I don't watch too many movies, but I hear it's a good movie. My son went to see it and enjoyed it, and so and it's had a very good box office weekend opening, also worldwide, and so I think it looks like it's solidly reestablished the Spider-Man franchise, and we will see what the future holds. And I kind of like Spider-Man. I mean, I haven't complained too much about this previous Spider-Man movies. I've not been a huge fan of them, but this is something from my youth, and you bring me back to that, and I just get to be highly uncritical, even when I should be more critical. So when it comes out on DVD or Netflix or whatever, I'll probably watch it. But that seems to be my home viewing habits: is sit at home and do it rather than spend $7 to $10 or whatever. Or in the case of my son, with these nice reserved seats, comfy seats, spent $17. So anyway, not something I would do unless my wife really wanted to go somewhere. I would treat her to that for sure. And then finally, Milo Yiannopoulos, controversial former senior editor at Breitbart. His book has been published, called Dangerous, and the Washington, D.C. metro system caved in, became very politically correct, and pulled the ads from their metro system, their stations, after getting complaints from liberals about it. They decided that it violated the policies on political speech and influencing public policy, for which it's pretty hard to see how a book ad, which is just the cover with a blurb, the one that I saw said, where the Nation, left-wing Nation magazine called Milo the most dangerous man in America, how that is something that violates Metro's ad standards and should be pulled. Milo obviously is upset. It's posted on Facebook about this injustice. But this is what kind of treatment you get. I'm not a big Milo fan, to be honest, but he has a free speech right, and the left, which talks about free speech, has just shut him down in this vein. It won't hurt his sales. He's apparently doing very well with the book initially, and I think this will only fan the flames. Probably will help him in the long run. So more people will be interested. It's like, so what the heck was this book all about? That the D.C. Metro, had to go ahead and do this. This is after the D.C. Metro system, the Customer Relations Department, had sent an email to a complaint that said that, in essence, they didn't see any need to remove the ad just because it offends you, in essence. But they changed their mind once the pressure built and more people started tweeting about it and doing things like that. So this is one of the reasons I hate the D.C. Metro system, and yet it is a necessity in this town to make it easier to get around. But if you don't have to ride the D.C. Metro system, don't do it. Just don't do it. Just even for this reason, just don't do it. All right? All right. Well, anyway, have a great day. Stay safe. We'll see you tomorrow.